guys. So I wanted to jump in real quick and talk to you guys about self sabotage. Now, when you think of the word sabotage, what do you think of? You think of someone doing something to sabotage something for yourself. But we fail to realize that we sabotage ourselves quite often. Self sabotage for me has a lot to do with the emotional aspect. So I'll jump into self sabotaging after a breakup. Turned into quite the investigator, and I regret every bit of it because it is nothing more defeating than comparing yourself to someone you know nothing about. You kind of put yourself in a position of where you don't know, and so the compare and the contrast is only based off of your assumptions, which you know aren't really valid because of course you're gonna put yourself on a higher plateau. Everyone to realize that when you self-sabotage, it can come in different ways, different forms, but when you self-sabotage, you take away from the healing process. It's the worst thing I could ever do in my life. So I asked myself, why did you make the same mistake twice? And I feel like it's only stemming from the fact that we hurt so bad. We need some type of solace to make our pain feel a lot easier. Now, that takes a lot of maturity, and to be honest, I'm still not there yet. I'm way better than I was before, but it's hard. It's hard to look at something that you've invested so much into and see it kind of unfold and then watch that all be given to somebody else, or watch that person be better to somebody else. But self sabotage is detrimental to your growth, first of all. I have learned that the pain that you feel after discovering certain details or information is nothing compared to the release that you feel when you know nothing. And you know the saying, hear no evil, see no evil, out of sight, out of mind. Those things really challenge you all to really think about the emotional ties that you have with that person, and what is finding out information or details about them going to do for you and your progress. For me, it did nothing because I knew who I was, and that's the point that I want to hone in on, is understanding who you were in the relationship, just being able to rest well in that. And honestly, the only thing that's helped me be able to do that is my relationship with God. I truly asked him to reveal a lot of my strengths and reveal a lot of the benefits that and attributes that I added to my marriage, so that I did not feel so low and so depleted about no longer being in that situation. So the other thing that self-sabotage has taught me is finding peace does not, it shouldn't associate with someone else's misery or peace either. But what does that do to you as a human being, knowing that you are excited about somebody else's demise? Grass isn't greener on the other side concept comes out to play. But for the most part, it does no good when you do find that out, because if you build that relationship with God, you already know that. And leaving the situation will keep your mind very fluid and clear on how you can progress as a person. And what, my alarm is going off. Excuse me. Come on.
3 hours later.
How you can progress as a human being, just in general. Like, you want to be better. Something else that self-sabotaging has taught me is you still are never going to know the truth. Instagram, Facebook, social media, period, is always going to depict somebody else's life being A plus. Ask myself, why did you do this a second time? Why did you go and do the investigation, or the trying to reveal details of a situation that is no longer yours? And again, very painful experience, and something that I wouldn't ask anybody to put themselves through, because that misery is not what you need to have associated with your progression. Some people are not able to fully admit that at this stage in my life, or at this stage in your life, our compatibility is just not mixing, and that turns into a lot of wasted time, a lot of uncomfortable unease, and you don't need that in your life at all. So when you self-sabotage, do your best to eliminate that yearning for answers. Something that I do to prevent myself from self-sabotaging is I remember the stages that I was at when I first found out about details that I shouldn't have found out about being nosy. How am I going to apply that in my life? how is me knowing about the ins and outs of their life gonna affect how I'm gonna live my life? And self sabotage, much like, inflicting a wound to yourself, is a sign of depression, and it is a sign of low self esteem and insecurity. There's something not right with your mental that you really either need to do your own soul searching or get professional help for. Now, I'm not saying you're crazy, and I'm not saying you are off your Richter scale and need Jesus. Well, we all need Jesus, but you get what I mean. Like, it's okay to be in that. Just don't live in it. Don't repeat. I have done everything in my power to eliminate wanting to know. And the reason why wanting to know is something that I'm trying to get far away from my mind is because I know where I stand in my life, and I know that those past situations, while in the beginning and early stages you want them back, those situations, and you feel like I can do better or I can relive these things, they are not meant for you. And God is truly saying, if this is something that I need in your life, I will go ahead and I'll bring it back to you. Don't inflict pain on yourself. Don't cut up in a wound. Don't do things that you know are going to make you sad or make you cry, because that's pretty much insanity. And I used to ask myself, why are you wanting to be insane? And there are moments you get lonely, you get quiet, but those are the moments that you need to capitalize on. And you need to say, what can I do in this moment that's going to change how I feel about this person in the future? Because I pray a lot, and if I find something out and I get devastated behind this information, how is that going to make my tomorrow? What is that going to do for 5 days from now? Am I going to be able to smile, or am I going to continue to live in the information I have? And why haunt yourself? Why live in a full on nightmare when you don't have to? Definitely don't turn to advice, but resting in your ability to know who you are. And if you don't know who you are, that's okay, but just keep saying, that's my homework. I want to know who I am. So stop yourself. Stop yourself. Understand that it is going to affect your tomorrow. It is going to affect your week from now. And is it really worth that? Because what are you going to do with the information anyways? But I really want to break that code, and I want to do whatever I can to help you all. We don't want drama. We don't want undue stress. So let's not self sabotage.